Here, real quick, I don't mean to cut you
No,
off.
keep going.
I'm going to cook right now. What he's essentially saying is that with the Younger Dryas extinction theory, if it did kill, which I do believe this to be true, if it did kill 95% of all of humanity, what we have today is the remainder of who survived. And what essentially he's saying is that if you have this cataclysmic event that takes place over the entire planet, essentially you would force every region of individuals into hiding. And then Egypt, Sumerians, like Mesopotamia, all this stuff, these would be the reemergence of humans into civilization for the first time after the cataclysmic event occurred. What he's saying with all the different breeds of dogs is look around you. The human race had way more races than we see today. 1000%. If you saw what white people did to Native Americans when they arrived on this soil, it should be very clear what happened to thousands of, possibly thousands of different species of humans that you have never even heard about. And this is just a straight up fact. They found bones of humans that are bigger than any human on Earth today, massively bigger. They have no explanation.
And smaller.
And smaller, pygmies, like 3 feet tall, 4 feet tall. Their whole civilization. And so I actually kind of do believe in my head that when they were talking about these gods, they were talking about, again, remember Egyptians, Mesopotamians, Sumerians, Greeks, Romans, they were all obsessed with all these different gods. What if all of those different gods were the different leaders of different races, had different abilities? Maybe not even abilities, but essentially, what if these gods that they're depicting are the stories that they carried down when they retreated into caves and were essentially forced out of society because of a cataclysmic event? These are just the stories and gods that they remember over hundreds of years or thousands of years of living in caves or in very, very small, tight-knit communities before they re-emerged into full-on societies. And I can't say whether this is true or not, but I've seen a lot of video of like 1800 San Francisco, and there's a lot of freaking buildings there for how early it was in the 1800s. Like full-on, I wouldn't call them skyscrapers, but like downtown city buildings. And so if you just show up to a place and there's buildings there, don't you kind of just claim them as your own and tell everybody else that you made them?
I think you should point out one more thing. Something that we should point out with all this infrastructure already being in, it's as if people stumbled upon it. And let's not forget that the first power tool wasn't even invented, the hand drill, until 1895. Yet all of this stuff existed. And even currently in those cities, beautiful architecture that's far beyond our imagination clearly still exists today. Even the pyramids themselves are, I can't remember where it is, but they have a staircase that literally is like, we don't even know how it really works.
I don't know what you're referring to. I feel like I've heard of it before, but I don't know.
It's like a weird staircase that basically has no type of support.
Is it like a curved one that
Yeah.
goes? I've seen those before.
Mm. Yeah, but I guess my point is, how is it, unless stumbling upon this kind of stuff, that we have such copy paste things, yet we were so much, we were farther, we were more unique as a society clearly back then. I just wonder how many different ethnicities there are. And that's something that we should bring up as well is, well, many people aren't going to like to hear this. There's a very big difference in IQ levels amongst different ethnicities, but I wanted to talk more about the skeletal structure on how doctors will treat each patient the complete same, no matter what type of ethnicity they are, because that's what we see when we look at it through an X-ray or something. But AI can actually tell the difference between in race between these types of skeletal structures. That's why it's even hard to try to tell people about any of this stuff, is because to get to the point where I'm thinking this way took a very long time. And anyone that truthfully knows me knows that I would say for both of us, we're go-getters and we're very busy people, and we don't spend our time doing useless things such as playing video games. We are constantly doing something. We have a huge garden. We have a lot of animals. We're farmers. What good could I possibly have from saying any of this? And like, it all comes from a misunderstanding on why don't most people just ask the question of, okay, but why would he even say that? What did he see or what triggered him to be thinking this way that I'm thinking right now? I'm not making this up. I'm just simply not putting my faith into the people that have proven to me time and time again that they are untrustworthy and clearly do not have the best interests of people. Because if that were true, there would be zero wars going on. But